An hour is never enough. Never enough for Orphan Black. Um, so, of course, I'm jumping around here on my theories and thoughts and review and whatever, but I'm very amused by the fact that Crystal's coming back in the next episode, saying that it's a cosmetics line and it's not clones. That was my really awful Crystal impression, by the way. Really awful. So, this episode, dude, I don't even know where to begin. I don't have any idea. I originally wanted to, as a side note, I really wanted to do this kind of like a live feed, in the fact that I like watch it and then on commercials I come in and say what I saw and then repeat that. But by like the second commercial, I decided I didn't want to do that because I would probably be repeating myself and the review itself would be like 15 minutes long, and I don't know about you, but I would not want to watch that. So, anyway. So this episode, Rachel is still a obnoxious, devious bitch. Mud is trying way too hard to hide her her monster. And then of course Cosima showing up, and then PT shooting the monster next to Cosima because Cosima wouldn't do it. I almost half expected her to hold the gun, she's saying, no, I don't want to do that, I'm not going to shoot him, turn around and shoot PT instead. I half expected that to happen, and I almost feel like she should have, because it looks as though she got locked inside the cell. And who would have thought that happened? Me, I would have thought that happened. You see her, and then she's crying, and then it, like, the scene cuts. And you're almost like, she's gonna get locked in there. Something's gonna happen. Oh, look, I was right. So it is kind of funny that Delphine's kind of playing both sides, two different sides, a couple different sides, whatever sides they are, that she is feeding information to Siobhan, and she's talking to PT and Susan, and then she sees Cosima, and, you know, she's telling Cosima to just chill out, and that dinner scene is actually almost as good as like the dance scene at the last one of the end of the seasons, in the fact that it is very very full of like human nature, I guess, in a sense. Like, it's a little bit out of character for Cosima, in the fact that it's almost like Sarah, you know, being like chill and being like, I'm drinking wine and I'm gonna ask about your crap, and I don't give a crap about your crap or you, but I'm gonna ask because it's polite, whatever. And it's funny that she keeps eyeing up Delphine, and Delphine's just like, what are you doing? Like, with her eyes, she's like, you need to just calm down a little. So that was actually pretty hilarious that happened. Speaking of Cosima, though, as this episode began, you know, they had a flashback of her and Delphine, and I was thinking, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a Cosima episode, I already know. It turned out to be a Cosima episode, just not to the extent of the Alison episode that I thought was actually going to be a filler episode. Cosima is number 1, Alison is number 2 as my favorite clones, so I clearly liked this episode much more than the Alison episode. Oops. But anyway, so I don't know. I was very amused by that, actually. The dinner. Let's see, what else? Oh, at the very end, Delphine, you know, asks Siobhan, you know, where's your contact? Can we trust them? Because we find out what they're doing with Kira. And she's like, I don't know, you know, I have my reservations pretty much about him. Is it the guy who's with Scott? Am I missing something? Like, that's the only other guy that I can think of that Delphine wouldn't necessarily know about. So I wonder if that's, like, I mean, obviously MK's dead. MK reached out to him. I don't know. I'm thinking way past that. But having, you know, Delphine kind of saying like, oh, well, something's going to happen with Kira soon. And then them finding out, and Cosima finding out through Susan, PT, Susan, one of them, that they're going to, oh no, it was Susan, going to harvest Kira's eggs, because, you know, her, what are they, the 20, 25A, 28A, 20, whatever gene it was that they're, you know, finding out, that's the one that is causing her this. And the fact that it almost skipped a generation and goes to the babies, because Helena has a similar thing, at least with the healing. I don't know about the, like, the memory thing. I kind of wished, speaking of the memory thing, that when Sarah and Kira are having a conversation in the living room before Siobhan gets home, saying, you know, Sarah's like, you know, you teach me your stuff, and I would tell you everything else. Well, the scene jumps in the fact that the next time you see them together, Siobhan gets home and they're not talking about Kira's abilities. They're talking about, like, at least not really. They're like, oh, you know, this is this person and this is this person. And at first I thought that when they're like, oh, well, what's Mrs. S? Oh, she's home. I thought she said, oh, she's old, which would have been a riot, actually, but it was repeated in that's not what she said. So the animal references to people are interesting, that Helena's a shark and Rachel is an elephant. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. We don't actually see that in Kira's mind, or at least the visions of what Kira sees while she's having an episode, unless she's figured out which clone is which by what she sees, and us as an audience doesn't see that. We just have to obviously take the word of the character. So that's kind of interesting. But I wanted to learn more about that myself. I wanted to be in the loop, to know, you know, well, how do you know this is happening? How do you know who's who? How do you, like, what do you feel? Like, we have this connection, we have this bond, whatever the case is. No, of course not. Why would we be informed on this information? Why? So, anyway, another episode down, continuing to looking forward to the rest of this series, which makes me sad, and there you go. That's just random review and my theories about things that happened in them.